Hello and welcome again to the Real Estate Titans podcast. I'm your host, Frank Ray, here with my co-host, Katie Lewis, once again. And we have some very special guests today. We have Mike Cabras and David Hurley. They are with eXp Hurley and Cabras Real Estate Group. Both these guys have been around for quite some time. David's like 22 years. Mike is like 21 years. Let me just get to the numbers of these two guys real quick. These two guys, in the past 12 months, have knocked out over 70 transactions. What do you think? I think we get the round of applause. Big Titan round of applause. Hey, and then David chimed in. He goes, yeah, if you want to go back 24, we did over 250. So how about another round of applause? So you guys, yeah, you guys are truly Titans. So let's get the introduction. So let's say hi to Mike first. Mike, wave your hand so people can see there's Mike Cabras. And of course, his cohort in crime over there, David Hurley. So great to have you guys on the podcast. We're so excited to talk to you and just run some questions past you so we can shake those two brains around and see what falls out, to maybe help some people, because these numbers that you guys are posting, they're significant, fellas. I mean, congratulations on what you're doing. And, I tell you, you guys been in for a couple of decades apiece. So you guys got the experience, right? You guys have how do we say, you guys have paid your dues, would you say?
Right, yeah. It didn't happen overnight. It's a work in progress, right?
Yeah. It's always a work in progress, isn't it? Even after a couple decades.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, cool. Well, we'll just dive right into these questions. So, Katie, what's up first for the guys?
All right. Do you have specific prospecting times and activities for new business? And if so, what are they?
Oh gosh, that's a loaded question, isn't it, David? Right. Well, basically, we relatively, David and I, we focus on our day-to-day activity, which we kind of pre-plan everything like a week before, because majority of our business is done through investor relation and small-time development. That's what we kind of work with. So a lot of the stuff that we do, we kind of backtrack it, right, per se. So we scout out, off-market properties, or we scour the internet as far as like any MLS deals that possibly a good deal for our clients, and we kind of pre market it like beforehand, right? So because for the following week, what we normally do is we go ahead and we look at all these properties the week after. So a lot of the properties kind of like get accumulated here on the week before. And then the week after is definitely we write offers and we inspect properties and kind of like that's our daily thing. We go in the following week, we do everything like week before, and then the following week we go ahead and we inspect the properties. We look at our ARVs and make sure that it works for our clients, small and big clients. So
you're kind of answering question 2 with question 1, which is very cool, which is, do you have a niche? And you do. So talk to me a little bit more. So you guys really focus hard on the investor side of things. That's what I'm hearing. So you're looking for the fix and flip type properties. Is that would I be correct in saying that, guys?
Yeah, mostly. So we're always looking for deals. We like the clients that are going to give us multiple business. Obviously, we still work with friends and family and referrals.
Right.
But we try to keep the numbers up by bringing properties to investors so we can resell them in the future.
So this is interesting. So, Mike, you mentioned that in your daily prospecting, to answer the question, you guys are getting together and trying to find these off-market properties, if you will, or potentially some that are on the MLS that might pen, right?
Right.
And then you're trying to find off-market properties that are like, that would be a good one, or that would be a good one. And then when you get these properties in your hands or get someone who's interested, then do you guys have like a group of investors that you kind of go to pretty regularly? Like, do you have like an investor pool of guys that are like, these guys always buy these things and flip them? How do you go about doing that? Or am I way off base?
Right. Well, go ahead, Dave.
Yeah, no, you hit the nail on the head.
Okay.
He basically runs mostly that side of it, the investor side of it. So he works with a couple clients that are really large buyers.
Okay.
So if it pencils, he has the guys with the money to close in 10 days and get going on them.
Man, I'm liking this model, Katie.
Very cool.
I mean, this model is like, let's find these homes. I already got the guys that want to buy them. Here's the house. It pens, cash, go. Am I speaking right, guys? Is this kind of what?
Right. Well, so basically, what we did is a long time ago, we predetermined these buyers, right? So before we go out for the deals and look for the deals, typically what we do first is we find the buyers. I mean, we need to know specifically what they're looking for, what areas they're buying, what price range are they buying, and and how much, and what type of work does this property needs, right? So that way we can actually tailor what we're prospecting for. So in essence, I mean, don't look for deals if you don't have the buyer for the deals, right?
Yeah, right.
We kind of reverse engineer it. We find the buyers first, which we have institutional buyers from small flip mom and pop flip teams, and wholesalers for that matter, right? Let's look for these deals, and we get together with these guys and say, hey, what specifically are you looking for, so I can find those deals. So that's kind of like how we work it.
Okay, so obviously it's easy to look at the. Oh, sorry, Katie, go ahead.
No, go. Keep going. I'm just saying they're like kind of going reverse, like he was saying.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
one and then ending with the other.
Yeah. So just so you guys know, you've totally piqued my interest here. Like this is one of those podcasts, Katie, where I'm going to be stuck on question one for a long time. But it's. So so obviously it's easy to look in the MLS and try the fixer, find the fixer, the flip, or the potential one that might work. But when you say when you guys start hunting down off-market properties, how do you find those? I mean, how do you go about finding them? I mean, just literally driving down streets looking, that's one, or
basically.
Really?
Yeah, we do that. So we do that usually once every other week. Just
no kidding.
Drive by neighborhoods that fit the buyers, what do you want to call it?
Well, the buyer's buy box, right?
There you go.
Where in essence, what happened is, we work with investors, right? And we sell them properties. So we know that they're buying at that area. So we actually, once we know that we're going to have it and we're going to get it relisted, we actually scour the same area and say, hey, what other properties are in this area that might qualify for this buyer? So it's an easier segue to go to them and say, hey, we already bought this property on this street. Hey, are you interested in maybe selling your home for cash? And that's kind of like how we do things. So it's like a twofold thing, right? You already got the product. You already have kind of credibility because you already bought it. They can look it up. It's bought. And just say, hey, we can do the same thing for you if you want out. Pretty simple.
Like if the roofs look bad, old windows, grass isn't maintained, those type of things.
Gotcha. And then you guys obviously list it once it's fixed up and sell it, right?
Yes, sir.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's pretty flipping awesome. And then, right, I just got one more question on this. So you're literally driving neighborhoods to find them. Are there any other? Well, I got two more questions. Is there any other way you go about? Do you do any marketing or advertising, saying, "Hey, you want cash for your house? Give me a call," like a lot of people do, or no?
We do, but we haven't really seen the results.
No. Okay.
At the way we get it the other way. We put up the signs, we buy houses,
all that stuff.
For our clients. We've done mailers, to people who look like they're in trouble on paper. But we haven't really seen the results that way as we've seen from actually putting eyes on the property and seeing the distress.
So, okay, then I can't stop here. So you're literally going in these neighborhoods, seeing a house that you feel like that one's a potential deal. How do you go about making contact with that person, of that owner of that house?
We find their contact information through tax records.
Sure.
We try to reach out through phone, email, and we will also send letters out if needed. And last thing, we would knock on the door and actually just talk to them. And
no kidding.
Yeah. Well, in other ways also, besides that, is we do network with other investors out there as well. Particularly, the wholesale game has been, around forever, I guess. And we actually partner up with some of these guys and say, hey, what do you have, right? Because we do have the end buyer, and that's what they're looking for, is the end buyer.
Right.
And we're not gonna take a property and then sell it to somebody else, sell it to somebody, and sell it to somebody else. We actually have the end buyer that can buy, a lot of these properties. we have buyers that can actually buy up to like 100 homes at one time if needed to.
Wowza.
So so that's kind of like the MO, right? I mean, we just network quite a bit. We go to some meetups and and really figure out what that side of the business is, right? Because as a realtor, a lot of times it's just one side. I'm gonna list a home, sell a home, right? Or buy a home. These guys are creating deals and the other side, and we want to tap into that. And that's why when you network with these guys, say, hey, what kind of deals do you have that maybe it's hard for you to get rid of because the number's too high, and no other flipper can get it. But we have a buyer that actually can pay a little bit more. So those are the type of deals that we want from them. So a lot of times those things gets wasted because they have a criteria in a buy box sometimes what a lot of these flippers, wants to get in at, but we can relatively pay a little higher. So we kind of like, we're the leftovers, right? We're the guys that will pick them up, when nobody else wants it, right? Because we have a buyer that will, that can buy it a little tighter, and they do it by numbers instead of onesies and twosies.
Right.
Yeah.
So just so I'm clear too, so you're like a typical week for you guys, Monday through Thursday, and I think what I heard you say, Mike, is that like this week we're going to go out and find opportunities. Next week we're going to try and get those opportunities. Is that
the right offer?
Is that what I heard? Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So like, what week are you on this week? Are you finding this week, or are you?
We're writing offers this week.
We're
writing like 5 offers this week.
Shut your mouth right now.
Yeah. So, and that's just one side of our business, and we're going to talk about our otherness with small developer. And that David can actually speak into that one.
Might as well get into it. Let's talk about the small developer. What do we got cooking over there?
Yeah, so we have a relationship with a developer who does, I would say, 60 homes a year, and uses us to exclusively sell those.
Brand new homes.
Yeah, brand new homes. They're all spec though, so it's not like we're setting up an office and having people pick up grades. None of that stuff. This guy just specs them out, and we're lucky enough to sell them for him.
Yeah.
How'd you get that relationship?
Yeah, that's what I was gonna ask. How'd you get that
Good
relationship?
question. Tell that story. I mean, I think this story is pretty cool.
Yeah, he cold called me about a property that he had for sale, one of his rentals, and he actually had it listed with another agent, and he was just asking me some questions about it. So I answered the questions. I told him that it actually looks good. The way they're marketing is fine. They're just priced a little bit high, but I think if you drop the price, he'll sell it and everything will be fine. And I would think that he would just go to his agent. It turned out his agent was his wife, and he tells me I don't really want her doing real estate anyway, but I'm gonna try to fire her, and if I do so, would you be willing to sell the house for me? Obviously, of course I will. So then he calls me later and gives me that house, and turned out there was 6 homes that he owned on that street that he was selling. Just wanted to put them out one at a time, and
on a cold call.
Yeah. Well, I mean, just to backtrack it, right? So I mean, David and I, we kind of partner up, and we kind of made a name for ourselves, right? As the listing people, right? I mean,
got it. Okay.
I think their mother called us, right? Oh, what kind of listing you have coming, right? Because we're putting 10 to 15 listings a week during that time, and of course he notices, and that's when he kind of called us while we're driving to Manteca, right?
We're actually going to remove a sign
in Manteca,
and it ended up being that one, and then really what I told him would happen happened. So then he started telling me about other rental properties that he had, and he gave me a list of 17 homes, and he's like, hey, check on these. Gave him prices, and he said, all right, I'm kicking everybody out, and we're going to sell them. And then I think we're maybe 10 or 11 homes through, and then he's like, by the way, I also build homes. What do you think of this little neighborhood?
Oh my gosh, dude, what a score. It's unbelievable. It's just like
I actually we probably sold maybe 100 houses through him before I ever met him face to face.
Oh my God, you got to be kidding me.
Wow.
What a story. This may be the coolest story we've heard on this podcast, Katie.
Yeah, and bottom line is always answer those cold calls, because
right. What if you didn't answer your phone that day?
That's simple. Answer your phone.
Hey, that's the reason why I drive all the time, right? That's why I drive all the time, so he can answer his calls.
So basically, this guy gives you a call. David, you proceed to, basically destroy his marriage, right? Get his wife fired, and then get a bunch of people kicked out of the rental property so he could sell them. So,
right, what a nice guy. You know what's? I honestly, even without knowing that it was his wife, the listing looked great, so I didn't bash the listing at all. I said, really, she's not. Your agent's not doing anything wrong. Everything looks great. Your pictures look great.
Everything's good.
Great. You're just priced a little bit too high. If you lower it to this, it's going to move. You're going to get multiple offers. It was during that time where we were in the market where everybody was paying, 25, 30,000 over.
Yeah.
So to land it at that price, you just listed it, 25, 30 under.
Right.
And that's all I told him. I'm like, hey, you're at 375.
You're at the top. Just get it underneath so they can bid it up to it. There's such a good trade, and I just want to get on the table. I'm just kidding about destroying the marriage and getting.
All right,
I don't want people to give me hate mail and all that stuff. No, we're just kidding around. But wowza, what a story.
Well, David. I just to make it a little bit more interesting. It's like, what are the conversations you have afterwards after we sold all these homes for him, right? So we ended up taking how many developments from him? After those 18, we ended up taking another 20. Development from him.
A 20 home,
a 17, a 14, 2 14s.
We have an 8 coming up.
Yeah, but leading to this conversation though, before all that stuff, so now we're talking about, we sold all 18 rentals for him, and then we took over a 20 unit development, and then another 14, right? And then you get a phone call, right, at home. What was the phone call on when he said the actual magic word?
So
this is kind of interesting.
This is before we actually got any of the developments. He calls me up and he tells me about the developments, and he's just asking me kind of about the neighborhood and how I think it compares to one of the other neighborhoods where the 6 were in, the original 6. And I told him, hey, it's slightly better, but very similar, just less rentals in the area, whatever. And he goes, okay, I'm building some houses. I'm not sure. I have never sold anything that I built. But my wheels are turning, and I'm thinking about it. And then I think it was maybe another week later, and he calls me. It's pretty late at night. I answer the phone, and he says, his words straight out, jackpot, motherfucker. And I'm like, I don't know if you can put that on the maybe bleep it.
I will bleep it out. Yeah, but go ahead.
And I said, what do you mean? And he repeats it, and he says, I'm selling everything. So this is what I have. I have 20 units I'm building here, 14 over here, another 14 over here, 28 over here, 8 over here. Next year I have 72 over here, and I'm just like, oh, it's gonna be fun.
So technically, in the next 3 to 4 years, we're gonna probably have over 100 plus listings coming up, besides the stuff that we do on my side of the business.
From one cold call.
I was just gonna say, if the lesson learned here, if the biggest takeaway is 100%, pick up your phone, man. Pick up your phone, but and let's not shortchange it. Pick up your phone, but on the other hand of the coin, you got to be good at what you do, right? I mean, you were good. You guys have been at this a long time. Your experience shined through. You knew the exact thing to say. You did it just right. I don't know, Katie. I don't know if we've ever given out this many rounds of applause. But what was that, Dave? Say again.
And I'd been in the area where that home was.
Yeah.
And I already knew the area. So obviously knowledge of the area that you work in.
Right. Yeah, that must have been very helpful too. I know this area. I know that. Yeah. What area? Where geographically? Where's this all happening? Like where?
So this is kind of Foothill Farm, Sacramento.
Fascinating. Wowza. Yeah. Man, oh man. I think let's just drop the mic and call it a day. I mean, seriously, it's pretty good. And I'm really not kidding about that, Katie. I don't know that we need to get into. Let's just keep going, but. Wow, what a great opening segment, guys. Congratulations on that. Epic stuff. Yeah. Good.
Right.
Good. Okay, so what's next? I mean, don't do the niche. We've already got that out of the way. I think we covered that.
What about, do we want to do the favorite tech then?
I mean, sure. Let's go through tech. I mean, what do you guys, go ahead, ask it.
Okay, so do you guys have a favorite tech platform?
Yeah, what does that even mean, like David said?
Like different technology.
I think our favorite tech is talk to people, right? I mean, that's what it is.
Yeah.
Right?
good enough if that's what you want to say.
Tech. Yeah.
No, so we use the KV Core platform that EXP offers.
Got it.
Is really good. Has everything, you know, right there on one screen. And then we also use a service called Listings to Leads.
I know that one. Yeah.
And really that's just to help market the listings for our clients and really push it out there more. Obviously, the more eyes.
Right. It'll push it out on social and stuff like that for you. Exactly. Okay. In the KV Core product, and I did a podcast with one of the big shots at KV Core, and I had no idea how robust that product was. I was like, oh my gosh, you got to be kidding me. But within the KV Core product, guys, is there anything within the product that you like the most about it? Is there kind of a thing that's my thing I like the most about it?
We like that it does the follow-up for us. You can kind of set it
up
and let it go and not have to. It answers the questions that people are asking. You know, we don't actually have to go in there and answer every question. If it's something that gets specific, you know, obviously we do, but you know, it can get that initial, hey, I'm looking
inquiry,
right? And then you know that it's a serious, and then hey, okay, now I can take it out of there and start making the actual personal contact with them.
So basically, you can market a property or something like that with KV Core. Someone inquires on it, and the system itself will kind of intelligently walk them through a Q&A to where when they come out the other end of this thing, you're like, hey, this is probably a real person that wants to actually have a conversation with me. Is that how?
And it can even start sending them like properties that, you know, the first one that sparked their interest. So there's
so cool.
There's a lot to it.
Yeah, that's
also,
really cool.
Yeah. And the beautiful part about it as well is like once we list property, right, we put properties on the MLS, KV Core actually communicate with our MLS automatically, and then it pulls it into the system. And now we can, for a click of a button, it can go into Facebook with its own landing page. You know, you can boost the product to where it goes in a certain parameter. So I mean, it does all this one-click, you know, menus where you don't have to set anything up. You just click a button and it just does it for you.
Nice.
You know. So that's kind of like, you know, what we love about it, because it's so simple and so easy to use that, you know, it's just clicking a button and it just does the marketing for you. And then once it gets funneled through, it goes to the actual agent's website. Right now, the client actually in the website looking at things, you know, putting love on things or fire on things, or it just gives you
those are emojis that he was talking
the emojis, right?
Yeah, right. Yeah, I got it. Yeah.
So it just gives you the opportunity. Yeah, to really look.
Do they ever put the poop emoji on anything?
Yeah, maybe.
I haven't seen it.
Poop emoji.
Right.
What's that all cost? Sounds expensive.
It actually comes with EXP.
It's free.
But if you or with somebody else, you do have the option. I want to say it's
$600. $600 a month.
Comes with EXP though, huh?
But it comes with EXP and our tech stack, right? I mean, we have other tech stack in the company, from transaction management to workspace, where, you know, we actually have our own Facebook with all 100,000 agents in the company, where you're talking to somebody in UK and Canada and New York and Texas, and everybody's sharing their information, right? I mean, that's kind of like the beautiful part of our tech stack, is because it's a sense of community. A lot of us, you know, when we get into real estate, we don't have that community, right? I remember, you know, actually starting real estate, and I'm walking when I was in my early years, and I'm walking by an office, the door shuts, right? There is no community because everybody's like kind of like,
right.
I don't want you to hear what I'm talking about.
Right.
Competition, right?
Yeah.
But with our tech stack, you know, I mean, we're getting information from people in Florida that's like, hey, this is working in Florida, try it in California. Or we're getting information from Brazil. Hey, we're trying this in Brazil, you know, try it in your region. So it's never a direct competition. And the funny part is, I mean, there is no competition, right? If I teach somebody in my neighborhood, I mean, most likely, you know, I mean, we're probably going to run into each other. I mean, because this is enough business for everybody, right?
Yeah.
But then, you know, and sometimes in our community, it's so close-minded that, oh, I'm not going to teach you, right? But with our tech stack, it's like, it's free for all. We'll give you PDF on how to do things and how to do whatever it takes. And that kind of comes with our program. So
extensive tech stack available. Out of it all, KV Core though seems to be like the thing that you guys say are kind of, that's my kind of our favorite thing, and then listings to leads to get some marketing done, but listings to leads, right? Yeah. So cool, a great answer, man. Cool stuff. What's next, Katie?
Where do the majority of your buyers and sellers come from?
Yeah.
Under a rock.
So the sellers, we kind of already talked about that.
Yes, we did. Yeah.
And as for the buyers, most of the buyers, that we do get, it's off of the KV Core, but we just send them out to the agents that are on our team and let those, let them get.
Yeah. Got yeah. Okay. How big is your team?
10 agents.
Yeah.
Not bad.
I like that size of a team, to tell you the truth, because I know sometimes with EXP, it's like it could be massive, right? But with 10 people, that's kind of an intimate team. You can really help that team a lot, right?
Rather keep them busy than just pick up a bunch of unhappy people.
True, right? Hey, we got to get some closings, right? EXP is a fabulous model, but still, it's preferred if people are closing deals, right?
Right.
Yeah, because there's money in that, right? So if you're keeping your team busy with deals, it's a great setup. It's really cool.
Yeah, and we got it set up to where we kind of broke out the region. We have a sales manager that kind of deals with the south area, and then we have somebody that takes care of the north area. So it's more intimate, right? So they always have guidance. Besides us, we also have a sales manager and staff that kind of works with our agents to kind of hand-holding, right? Everybody always want the hand-holding thing, but at the end of the day, it's still their business. But we're kind of grooming them to eventually go out on their own and build their team and do other things. That's the opportunity that our company, EXP, offers. It's like, hey, you don't have to be a buyer's agent forever. You can actually go and do this thing.
Yeah.
And be just like us, right? We just build it, before you, but now we're going to teach you how to do the same so you can go do your own.
Cool.
Yeah, so we kind of have a 1-year revolving door per se, right?
Yeah. All right, man. Cool. Yeah. What's next, Katie? Good stuff. This is awesome.
Database. How do you stay top of mind with your database?
Yeah.
We just started actually caring about this, which is really bad.
And you know what? And I'm going to just jump in here. I can see why. You've got so much on the front end, right?
Yeah.
You've got so much front end activity going that the back end can sometimes not take precedent, right?
Right. So we've teamed up with some marketing companies just, recently, and we're going to start, doing the whole thing with the gift baskets and the client parties and all that stuff. But we just got started on that. So we're pretty bad up until now.
You know why?
Love the honesty.
I call my one guy. I'm like, hey, buddy.
The reason why is because you're a couple of dudes, man. That's what's wrong.
Yeah. But
I got it.
For the most part, we do stay in touch with them, but we don't have a systematic approach to it per se.
Yeah.
Just to be honest, right? Because like you said, we're kind of front loaded.
Yeah.
We really didn't have time to do that stuff. And I think, referral and, inclined appreciation is the lifeblood of anyone's business, because not everybody can get to where we are. And we just kind of like,
right.
Just had this relationship, a massive relationship where, somebody like new might not be able to get there right away.
Correct.
So, it's very important that, because I think David and I talked about this forever, like say, hey, what are we doing with our database and how are we reaching out to these guys? So we partner up with a company that now has this thing on autopilot, to where now all these guys are getting touches, every time, and we're calling them and, checking up with them and stuff like that. So that's kind of like how we did it. It's kind of like a hands off, instead of us doing it, we hired a company to go do it for us.
Good, man. Good stuff. Excellent.
We're getting done.
All right. Good stuff, man. What's next?
All right. Well, you guys kind of already answered this one.
Okay.
You have team members that support you.
Well, actually, that's what I meant by this one, Katie, is... Oh, go ahead. Sorry. I hate to interrupt you.
No, it's okay. There was just a two-parter to that one. If so, how many and what do they do?
Yeah, and I'm not talking about other agents. I'm talking about, do you guys have, like, admin staff?
Yeah.
So nothing... So we... Again, they're both outside companies that kind of handle the different stuff for us. For admin staff, we do have, the transaction coordinator that, handle the paperwork and do all that. Because, obviously if we spent so much time doing that, we wouldn't be able to.
Oh, for sure.
Scale where you need to be, right?
Yeah.
And then our sales managers, they help a lot because they're really helping with the training of the agents, walking them through the transactions. They obviously, the team can always reach out to us with, specific questions, or if they want to hang out, we're always good for that. But the day-to-day, like even, sometimes we might get a new agent that doesn't even know how to open a house, and that our sales managers will go out and do those kind of things with them and really get them up and running.
Okay, so you have sales managers.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And when you say you have sales managers, are these agents that have experience that are on your team that help out?
Yes.
Okay. That's
like I said, we broke it out in 2 regions because we wanted to be more intimate per se.
yes.
You don't want to run a massive team and and everybody get kind of lost in translation, more or less. So we have somebody that kind of runs, from Sacramento down, all the way to Lodi, Stockton, in that area, and we have somebody that kind of runs it from Roseville up to Yuba County and Butte County.
Yeah.
So if we do get new team members that comes in, they fall in each category.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Very cool. This is interesting. You guys have a pretty cool setup going here. Gotta tell you, I'm impressed. I'm intrigued. All right, what's next, Katie?
How do you stay organized?
Ha ha!
How do you?
Loaded question.
We don't.
Love the honesty.
It's awesome chaos. That's what it is.
There you go.
Organized mess.
Yeah.
Sounds
Well, I
like-
mean, that's the reason why we're putting systems in place, right? So we can get organized.
Yeah.
The beautiful part about, the company that we're with is like, we don't have to do majority of the lifting, right? That's the reason why we're kind of building our company within the company. So somebody else can do the heavy lifting and all we can do is support, right? So we can focus more on marketing, right? That's how we stay organized. We focus on marketing. We focus on bringing more deals to the table so our agents eat, right? And that's kind of like what we do, right? I mean, that's how we stay organized in our business so that way we can bring more to the table for our agents so they can learn from that. And, being with this company, they kind of set it up to where, you don't have to be hands-on more or less because they provide everything else. I don't have to answer broker questions. I don't have to do training more or less. Everything is systematized, like from our outreach to our database is systematized, right?
Yeah.
We kind of, so for anybody out there that doesn't have a system, and that's something that Dave and I kind of talk about for years, right? It's like, dude, we need to have a system because then we will be running around, try to do everything, right? So now, little by little, we were able to set systems up to where now it runs on autopilot. And, for a newer agent, that might be a loaded question to ask, right? But at the end of the day, it doesn't, you have to start somewhere though. It could be just, just setting up your database, and kind of work that until you grow, and then you set up systems to kind of run it in autopilot so you can focus on other things that's more productive, more or less, and that's making deals and negotiating contracts.
For you guys, so when you're with regard to these systems, etc., but then jokingly we were saying, we're not very organized. We just kind of get this stuff done. But I'm just curious. So, like today, you said right now, this week is offer writing week, right? So we're writing a bunch of offers this week. Do you guys have are you whiteboarding this stuff, or is this in the computer basically what I'm doing, or is this files on the counter or on the desk? Or you get what I'm asking? Like
A little bit of both.
Yeah, a little bit of everything. Because I kind of see over your shoulder, David, that it looks to be some sort of a pipeline over your right shoulder. I think there's a whiteboard of some kind.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is that some sort of a pipeline thing there, or?
Right. Just a system on kind of building the business and really dialing down all the details.
Yeah.
So you're not missing anything along.
I noticed. I think this is a pretty common thread for. Katie is this way too. Like, I try to keep Katie in the computer. She would much rather have a whiteboard over her shoulder and be able to see it on the wall and understand what's what's going on. Are you guys more like that?
Absolutely.
Yeah. And of course we empower our agents as well. I mean, we don't have to do everything, right? The idea is to leverage, right? Because trying to do everything yourself, I mean, that's almost impossible. Then you'll never go home.
Yeah.
I mean, you'll sleep. So you empower other agents, we have an agent named Gene, right? And then he helps me with some of our, on some of our actually inspections and stuff like that. And he scouts stuff and just empowering other agents so they can learn the same thing, right? So they can learn what you're doing. And again, that's just how to build it. And then it lands on my desk already analyzed. And I can say, okay, I can put that deal together, or I can't put that deal together. So just having, by like I said, like the week before we look at the properties and say, okay, these are the ones that we're looking at this week. Now let's go take a look at them, and then once we figure out that it's going to work, then we're going down to the writing offers space. So kind of like work that way. So we do our due diligence the week prior. So that way, this time we're just writing offers and doing the week again for the following week.
So cool, man. You guys got
so
some really.
You kind of have to do it that way, because otherwise, is what's going to happen is you want things to kind of close, like almost like a rolling down the hill type of thing, where deals happening, and working on the same thing, happening at the same time, right? So everything is just kind of like going down, right?
Yeah, you guys have a very organic approach to it, right? It has to have an organic flow to it. So I get it. Yeah, very, very cool.
You guys on any kind of like shared Google Calendar to keep you guys organized on a daily,
Yeah, like appointments and stuff.
Run a lot of your errands and do a lot of your stuff together. Is that what I hear? Do you guys?
Yeah, we do have one, but we don't really use it.
Yeah.
It's so interesting.
Call me, right? Call me.
Just text back and
just
forth.
Text me. Call
Don't
me.
forget about this.
Yeah.
Even with that, I still forget about stuff all the time.
This is just tripping me out. The numbers you guys are posting, just how you guys operate, everything's just amazing. It's really cool.
Right, and sometimes I wonder too, right? How do we do with this many deals and not have a system, right? I mean, because we haven't talked for years.
But you do have a system.
Yeah,
we do. You have a system. It's not. So I think a lot of people think system. They think there's a software behind it, right? Yeah. There's a cloud-based app thing, whatever. You guys aren't necessarily like that, but you do have a system, though. You've got a way that you guys flow together and the way that you guys work together to where you can knock out, 250 deals in 24 months. Pretty good.
We're average agents. So.
Yeah, okay. All right, what's the next question?
Okay. Can you share a specific example of a challenging transaction you navigated successfully and what you learned from that experience? I know. We're really looking forward to this.
We always don't want any challenging stuff, but I do have one for you that's kind of funny in a sense, right? So first time home buyer, very excited, they're getting their first home, and they're now with any buyers that are very excited, I mean, they kind of do things without thinking about it, more or less, right?
Even when you tell them not to.
Even when you tell them not to.
Right.
That's the first thing you would tell your clients. Hey, don't buy stuff, don't open stuff, don't do anything with your credit, because
don't change your job.
The lender looks at it, you cannot change it, okay? So it's like, okay, fine, whatever, I get it, right? So sure enough, in one of our deals here in Sacramento, we got the CD out, so basically this closing disclosure, so they're ready to go, right? Really, and next thing you know, I get a phone call from the loan officer that says, hey, did your client just bought furniture? I was like, it kind of messed up their DTI, their debt to income. Now they're saying they have more debt. Now they can't.
Oh my God.
What to do? Right? I was like, oh my God, what are we gonna do? Right?
What did you do?
So this is what I did, and God, honest to God, truth, this is what I did. So I ended up going, hey, I know it's a mistake. You didn't mean to. I know you're just excited about it, but where did you try to get that furniture? Oh, furniture, Ashley or whatever it is in Roseville, right? I was like, okay, who did you talk to over there? So I literally went over there, talked to the sales manager, and says, hey, listen, you need to backtrack all of this.
Yeah.
You need to make sure that they never bought this from you. And says that this was a mistake, that basically just let the company know, hey, they're gonna come and buy from you.
Yeah, right away.
Right away, but they need to buy their house first.
Yeah.
But with this on their credit now, saying that you guys inquired on a credit of $5,000, it kind of threw everything off. So you had to write a letter saying that they never bought this furniture, that they made a mistake by running their credit, and that's
and you got the guy to do that.
I got the furniture company to do it, because I told them that, hey,
hero,
I'll buy from you anyway, right? But we just need to close this deal so they can get their house, and then they can come and get their furniture from you later.
Hey man, that's going the extra mile on your part, and what a great guy at the furniture place to understand and cooperate. Yeah. And I a lot of that has to do with your approach to that too. I imagine. Excuse me.
Sorry.
Anything? This is gonna make you laugh, right? Yeah.
Again, they don't know what they don't know, right? I mean, even after you told them so many times, they're just excited. They're brand new homeowners, and they want to doll up their house, and they made a pretty common mistake that a lot of people make, is to go open credit cards and stuff like that, because they think that the transaction's done, right? Mm-hmm. And sometimes you gotta do the extra mile and go out there and talk to the people and say, hey, they made a mistake. Can you please write a letter saying that they never applied, or they accidentally pressed the button that says apply, and that they never bought anything, they don't owe anything. So, and they did it. So, and that kind of helped it out, and and we were able to get the deal funded, and they've been in their house for about 6 years now, happily.
Nice.
With the furniture.
With the furniture.
With the furniture.
Oh my gosh, what a great story. What a awesome, the story, we could say common, right? People do this, they buy things, but how you fixed it, not so common, and pretty interesting. So good stuff. Great work. What's next, Katie? What's left?
All right. What advice would you give to new or average producing agents looking to get started or to increase their success in the industry?
You guys in for 20 years apiece. You got a new kid.
What do you think, David?
A new kid, like, I really want to be like you guys. What do I do? How do I get started? What should I do first?
Work really hard.
Okay.
In the beginning, you got to do everything. You got to, try everything, see which one you like. And then when you find something that you like, really perfect it and do a lot of it. If it's open houses, try to do 3, 4, 5 a week if you can. Just treat it like a real job. The problem with real estate is most people get into real estate thinking, oh, now I'm going to make a lot of money and I don't have to do anything. But if you could treat it just like you would treat, I'm going to spend 40 hours a week at, as an electrician or whatever it might be, and you take those 40 hours and you actually figure out a way that you're working, not, oh, I'm on the computer researching houses. Maybe that's a small portion of it, but actually working.
Prospecting.
Yeah, prospect all the time. When you get a deal, it's great to work the deal, but you need to spend more of your time working on the next deal, getting the next one in line. Otherwise, you sell a house, you have money for a week, then you're out looking to try to get another client. Then 30 days later, you sell that house. You've really got to be focused on that next deal. One of the things that we did is we put in their just transaction sheets, and it tells you when you're following up, right? You're going to follow up with your client, 3 times a week, but do it on these times. That way, the other times you can, be actually out there and
prospecting, time blocking. Yeah,
time blocking.
Right. And if you do that, you're never neglecting your clients, as long as you're really checking in on their deals 3 times a week. You're letting them know 3 times a week, hey, this is what the next step is. Hey, you're not doing anything. You're just hanging out this week. Just relax, and we're waiting for this to come back. Whatever it might be, continue to check in with them. Let them know where the transaction is, but spend most of your time working on getting another one and another one. It's easy to follow up with even 5 clients at one time if it's if you have it set up. Hey, I'm going to be calling on Thursday between 1 and 3. It's easy to make 5 phone calls between that time. But if you're running around with 5 clients and you don't have that in place, your clients feel like they're not getting talked to, they don't know where they're at. You don't have time to get the next transaction once these ones start closing.
Good stuff. Anything to add to that, Mike?
Yeah, well, I only have 3 things really. I mean, it's
treat your clients right.
Yeah, take care of your clients. And but here's one thing though. I mean, this is for somebody that's getting started for the first time. I mean, I wish somebody taught me this when I first got started. I mean, I came from a sales job and says, here's real estate. It's the same. No, it's not. It's totally different. Because I have to go actually find deals instead of the deals coming to me, right? So
they didn't give you a phone book. They just
they didn't give me a phone book. They actually told me, hey, you need to go do this. Talk to people. I was like, whoa. I'm used to just having them call me, coming from a retail background, at the time, So one thing that I think that's very important for anybody that's in real estate or somebody that's trying to get in real estate is to actually associate with the right company, right? I mean, there's so many company out there that gives you the shiny object. I can do this, I can do that, and when you get there, it's like, well, where to go, right? So really determining the right company that really offers the value that you're looking for. What is it besides the transaction and the leads and the training and stuff like that? What other things can they actually give you that can set you up for long term, right? I mean, time and time again, what we do is we come in and then, we don't like it anymore. We go on another one and we go on another one and we go on another one. But we're never really setting the presence that's, hey, when I'm going to go with a company, what is it with this company long term? What do they offer besides the basic thing that from training to lead generation to anything like that? What can this company do to help me build wealth, right? That's what the first thing that people should actually dive into before they, get into real estate is choose the right company, right? I'm not name dropping anything, but there is companies out there that gives you more than just your training and lead generation and stuff like that, right? So secondly, right, find a mentor, right? Find a mentor that you can kind of like squad with, right? So whether the company offers the mentorship or you find somebody else in your company that you can mentor with, right? I always tell, an agent that said, well, I don't want to pay a big split. I was like, well, what's better? 50% of something or 100% of nothing, right? Yeah. So, and a lot of times, there's a disassociation with newer agents to say, hey, I can do this on my own and I'm going to be just fine. And they ended up, not staying in the business for a long time because they have the mentality that I don't want to pay somebody, to mentor me or to do business with, right? And the last thing that I think that's really important is find a company that has a sense of community where you can go to and ask questions without any prejudice, right? Because some companies, even the same company in a different region, they wouldn't even share what they're doing, right? Because they think that you're a direct competition. So find a community, whether a meetup or a whole bunch of like masterminds that you can kind of go into and hang out with. Because I put it this way, when you go out and do deals, you want to hang out with people that does deals, right? Most of these agents that doesn't actually do any deals because they're hanging around with the wrong people, right? They're hanging out with people that are not doing deals, right? So if you want to sell 50 homes a year, you hang out with somebody that's doing 50 homes a year, right? I mean, you're better off that way. So again, just, find the right company, find the right mentor and mentorship, and join a community that's doing what you want to do in your career.
I love it.
That's
great stuff.
My 3 cents.
Good stuff. Great, both of you guys. Thank you. Let's wrap this thing up and bring it home, Katie. What do we got?
All right. Are you looking to grow your team?
Yes.
Yes.
I think we want to add probably another 6.
Another 6. Okay. What geographic area do they have? Does it matter what area they're in to you or not? Because I know.
Yeah, so definitely in and around Sacramento.
Okay.
Sacramento area.
Okay. Good enough.
Yeah. That was part of the next question too. What areas do you serve, and how can a buyer, seller, or potential new team member reach you? So,
go.
How can they reach you? Phone number, websites, tell us it all.
And then
they can reach us at team at Hurley and Cabras Real Estate. Realty, what's that?
Real Estate Group.
Yeah, realestategroup.com. So team.
We'll make sure we get the right one down below.
Right.
Don't worry.
I think it's team at Hurley and Cabras Realty.com. I think that's what they set it up for. So that's what it is. So team at Hurley and Cabras Realty.com.
Okay.
And what about phone number?
Phone number, they can either reach me at 916-254-1702. And David?
916-895-9188.
Beautiful.
Yeah. Well, again, like thanks for having us. I mean, I hope we gave a little bit of insight in our world.
Oh yeah.
Our chaos.
It was just awesome. I got to tell you guys, this was one of the funnest Titan podcasts I think we've ever done. Just everything about it was very, very cool. So can't thank you guys enough for being here. And again, for all the listeners, man, if you want to engage with these two cats, it would be a wise thing to do because they got it going on. So, man, guys, thanks so much. Really appreciate it. We'll have you back again. Maybe we could dive a little deeper into some things here and there, but that'd be great.
We would love to.
All right. All right, well, you guys hang tight. Don't go anywhere because when we stop the recording, we still want to talk to you about something. But in the meantime, I just let everybody else know, if you're watching us here for the first time or listening for the first time, you would like to be on the podcast, or if you know a good candidate that you think would be good on the podcast, just call Bill Crossan at 707-220-1444. That's 707-220-1444. With that, we're going to get on out of here, and we'll see you guys here next time on the Real Estate Titans podcast. Thanks, guys. Adios, everybody. Okay, guys. So at the end of every podcast, we do this. So we tell you a joke. See how you feel. How you feel about it, Katie? What do you got?
All right, guys. Why do bees have sticky hair?
No idea.
No idea.
Because they use a honeycomb.
Oh.
That's a good dad joke. You just kids are young enough.
Hey, I got another one. When does a joke become a dad joke? When it becomes apparent.
Oh, when it becomes apparent. Gotcha.